Hello, my name is Thad Hall, and I'm with Forest Marsh Group. And today I'll be talking about Section D of the Election Administration and Voting Survey. Section D covers election administration issues. Before we begin, it will be helpful for you to have two documents. First, a copy of the Election Administration and Voting Survey instrument, and second, a copy of the supplemental instruction manual that goes along with the survey instrument. So what is in Section D? Section D covers four issues. First, the number of precincts in your jurisdiction. Second, the number of polling places in your jurisdiction, broken out by election day and early voting. Third, the number of poll workers who worked in your jurisdiction. And finally, the age of the poll workers, broken out by age category. So the first question, D1A, is asking for the total number of precincts in your jurisdiction for the 2016 election. And here it's important to remember that a precinct is an administrative geographic area to which voters are assigned for voting. It's not the number of polling places, and that question will be asked in just a moment. So in D2A, we do now come to the total number of polling places in your jurisdiction. And here it's important to remember that every jurisdiction likely had at least one physical polling place to serve individuals with disabilities and other needs who wanted to cast a ballot in person. For question D2A, you'll be reporting the number of polling places, not precincts, you had in the 2016 general election. And here it's important to note that if one location in a building had multiple precincts within it, this is just one polling place. So for questions D2B and D2C, we're examining the number of election day polling places in your jurisdiction. So in D2C, this is the number of election offices in your jurisdiction that were used for voting on election day. In D2B, the number of polling locations you had on election day. And now we turn to early voting. And here in questions D2e and D2f, you'll be reporting the number of early voting polling places in your jurisdiction, with D2f covering the number of election offices that were used for early voting. So this would be if your central election office was used, for instance, for early voting. And D2e is the number of polling locations you had for early voting. And here, it's also important to remember if you had vote centers, this question might be very important here. If you had multiple vote centers operating over the course of the election in your jurisdiction, you'd want to use both the early voting and the polling location questions to appropriately categorize your vote centers. So in question D3A, we'll be looking at how many poll workers worked on election day and in early voting. And here there are three things to keep in mind. First, we're trying to capture anybody who worked on election day or early voting. But if somebody worked both early voting and on election day, we only want to count that person one time. So if you had a worker who worked all through early voting and on election day, they just count once. Finally, do not include temporary staff or permanent office staff in this count. Many offices, for instance, hire temporary staff to count absentee ballots. These individuals would not count in this question. Finally, you'll be asked to categorize the poll workers by age category. And the importance of this is that the EAC has been interested for quite some time in identifying better ways to recruit poll workers and understanding the pipeline of poll workers in the United States. And age data can be very important for understanding who is serving across jurisdictions as poll workers. And these age data can often be found in your voter registration rolls, payroll records, or other poll worker application documents. And so if you can answer this question, it'll be very important.
Finally, you'll be asked to rate how easy or difficult it was for you to recruit poll workers for your jurisdiction for the 2016 general election. This is a subjective question, so just report if you found it easier or difficult to recruit poll workers. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Most of the questions that you may have can be answered using the supplemental instruction manual. However, if you still have questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. Our contact information is EAVS at forsmarshgroup.com. Thank you very much.